So when I was in college, I took these courses like online. It was like this sales thing. It's called HTC, like high ticket closer. There's this guy named Dan Locke, and he was promising like you can make six figures all just from talking on the phone, right? Doing sales over the phone. I was like 18, 19 at the time, and so I didn't really know any better. I just kind of was still trying to figure out like what I was going to major in, what I wanted to do for a career, how I was going to make money. But I knew that I wanted to make money online. I wanted to be location independent. I wanted to be time independent. I wanted to be able to make money wherever, whenever, like most people nowadays. But this is in like 2017. So this is like before COVID, before remote work really became a big thing. The whole digital nomad movement. It was still a little underground right now. And I just remember I was taking these classes, in addition to my actual college courses. And I would be sitting there like it would be like a live like group cohort type of thing where there would be a ton of slides and presentations, and some people could like call in and ask questions and stuff, and we're supposed to be learning about sales or whatever. I'm not here to talk about like whether or not that course was like good. Like you could look that up for yourself and like come to your own conclusion. I would just absorb all this knowledge about like sales and marketing and the psychology behind it, take pages upon pages of notes. You'd have like the recordings. There's like a Facebook group and shit, right? So it's like this whole big community thing. And I just remember I would be scrolling through all the messages, seeing people talking about their mindset shifts and like how they started applying the sales techniques to their jobs or whatever, to their business. And they started making like $4,000 more this weekend or some random stuff like that. Like everybody was making money or everybody was being successful with this, or so it seemed, right? For me, I'm just sitting there like in my dorm room, not doing anything. I would just think about how much money I'm gonna make from this, how much these sales skills that I'm learning are gonna like make me rich, and it's gonna give me the dream life, the big house and the fancy car and stuff. And I would think about it and I'd never actually take action. I would just sit there like how I'm sitting here right now talking to you, but I would just be talking to myself like in my head about some future where I have all this money, or I've applied all these skills that I'm learning, or I've accomplished this big goal. By the way, what turned out it wasn't actually my goal, right? It was a bit of societal programming. Y'all touch on that later. I would just sit there, dude, literally not accomplishing anything, thinking about how much action I was going to take instead of actually like creating that future using the knowledge that I was learning, that I was absorbing. I just sat there and like did nothing with it and like thought about how great it was going to be. It's kind of the same thing with like the gym, right? Back in college, I had just lost a ton of weight. I used to be obese back in high school, and I lost like 70 pounds going into senior year of high school. Throughout college, I built muscle, but I wasn't really trying to like build a ton of muscle. I was actually trying to lose more weight. Even though I'd lost 70 pounds, I still had body dysmorphia, and I thought that I needed to lose more weight, even though I was like 6'1", like 170 pounds, like skinny fat. I needed to bulk up at that point. Even knowing all that and having all this information at my fingertips, I had a personal trainer that like my dad used to work with, and then I started working with them. I watched a lot of like Athlete X, so I learned a ton of like good form on different lifts and shit. But even with that, I had all this information at my fingertips, and I still wouldn't do anything with it. I'd go to the gym and I just kind of half-ass the exercise or half-ass the diet. And then I'd wonder like, why am I not getting results? Why am I not building muscle faster? Why am I not losing weight faster? I wasn't really making any changes. I was just thinking about how all these actions that I'm taking are gonna get me a certain result. When you're sitting there not actually doing anything, then you're literally just living in an illusion. It's this like fantasy future that you're living in. I never actually took action towards the things that I wanted to achieve, even though I knew what to do. So that just left me in a cycle of like wanting something but never achieving it. And then when you're in that type of cycle, it's like you have this goal that you want, you know how to get there, but then every day you're not doing it. You're not actually putting yourself out of your comfort zone to get there. Everything that we want is outside of our comfort zone. If it was within our comfort zone, we'd already have it, right? We wouldn't need to put in any effort to go and get it. I wouldn't have needed to put in effort to like lose that weight or to implement those sales skills, which I ended up not really doing. That's a story for a different time. But the point being, when you're just living in some fantasy land in your head, you're living in la la land, right? Some future fantasy that you're living in, you're not actually living in reality. You can only live the life that you want to live in reality, in the present moment. If you're constantly thinking about the future, that doesn't actually exist, right? It's an illusion. It's not real, because by the time that day, that future day comes, it's the present. It's right now. And what are you doing right now? The only way to build for the future is to plan and take action right now. And so when you're sitting there, like, just not doing anything, you're literally wasting time. You're constantly like thinking about this goal that you want, and then you're just not taking action. It's like, you know what you need to do to get from point A to point B, but you're just sitting there daydreaming about how great things are going to be once you get to point B. But what's the point of that, dude? What's the point of actually sitting there just thinking about the life that you want to live? Why not actually start living it? Why not actually start taking steps towards being the person you want to be? Going back to the whole weight loss thing, only now am I like really close to getting the physique that I wanted back then. Back then I would just think about, oh, once I have more muscle, or once I, get down to like 12% body fat, then, I'll buy all these new clothes and stuff, and I'll look super cool with like my muscles popping or whatever. All I did was sit there and think about it. I never actually took action. Only until recently, where I finally taken action, where I finally actually been dialed in, am I even close to reaching that goal now, right? I'm about 10, 15 pounds away. But again, that in and of itself is a topic for a different story, right? You're always thinking about when it will happen, how you're going to feel when it happens, but you never actually take the time to bridge the gap, right? You're at point A, your painful reality, you're dealing with all these problems, all these issues that you want to overcome, and you want to get to point B, right? You want to get to dreamland. You want to get to your desired reality. And you're just thinking about how great you're going to feel when you get to point B. But there needs to be some sort of steps. How are you going to bridge the gap between point A and point B? It's good to have like positive thoughts, right? Law of attraction, all that kind of stuff. Like, that's good. Focus in on those positive thoughts, and those thoughts need to then translate into words, and more importantly, into actions. If those thoughts that you're focused on, those positive thoughts, if they don't become actions, there's no point to like what you're doing. Like, who cares if you're just thinking positive thoughts, if you're not actually like putting that energy out into the world, to build the lifestyle that you want to live, to build the physique that you want to live, to build the business that you want to build, like whatever it is, you have to actually take action. It's like they say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Imagine you're playing basketball, right? You're wide open for three in the corner. Like, you're Klay Thompson, you're wide open for three. And instead of just like pulling up as soon as you get the ball, like you hesitate. The defender's gonna come and like pack the shot, dude. You get the ball, just shoot. Just go for it. Don't hesitate. Every time I've seen basketball or I play basketball, somebody hesitates on a shot, they almost always miss. Even if you're gonna miss the shot, just shoot it. You can't wait for perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. You're like waiting for all the stars to be aligned, all the perfect moment to act or to do something, but that's literally procrastination. That's an illusion. That's a lie. That's your ego. That's fear. It's your ego, literally, like your brain, your little monkey brain, literally trying to protect you from discomfort. In this case, the discomfort comes from putting yourself out of your comfort zone, right? Fear of the unknown, fear of doing something new, fear of just trying new things and potentially failing at them, and like the fear of like the embarrassment of you failing at your goals and not achieving them. But like, who cares, dude? It's your life, right? Who are you and what do you want? That's what Uncle Iroh said to Zuko in Avatar. If you've seen Avatar, Zuko, there's an episode where he was about to kill Appa or something. Appa like got captured in Ba Sing Se, I think. And then Zuko put on like the blue spirit mask and he's about to go kill Appa or something. And then Uncle Iroh catches up to him and he's like, bro, Zuko, you gotta stop. Like, you're on demon time right now. Zuko's having this like his internal crisis because he's doing things not because he wants to do them, but because of what other people are telling him, right? What his dad told him, the Fire Lord. Uncle Iroh pulls up and he's like, dude, Zuko, literally tells him word for word. He says, who are you and what do you want? That's going to be something that I'm going to keep harping on, because that's like the ultimate question that you could ever ask yourself. And it's so simple, but it's so profound. You're out here fantasizing and daydreaming and procrastinating because you're afraid. You're afraid to step into who you are. You're afraid to allow yourself to be joyful. You're afraid to allow yourself to be happy. You're afraid to allow yourself to just be the truest expression of you, like your real self, not some like fake version of you that other people told you to be, or you think society wants you to be, or how you think you should act, or how you think you are because of like old bad habits or societal programming or, past traumas. None of those things are you. You are who you are. And it can take time to really peel back all those layers, right, of programming, of ego, to get to the root of who you are and get back to understanding and having a healthier relationship with yourself. But I promise you, it's important and it's worth it. You are worth it. You are worth all the effort to do all that inner work, to build a healthier relationship with yourself. Because it's all about knowing who you are. When you are comfortable with yourself, your true self, like you truly know yourself as best as you can in this moment, it's so easy to just be. It's so easy to let go of the daydreams. It's like you can finally take that action, right? You can finally start implementing all the knowledge towards that career or business you want to start. You can finally start actually getting dialed in on your nutrition, on your weightlifting, and build the physique you want to live, right? You can finally get dialed in on like actually going out and socializing, actually going out and meeting people, making some friends, right? Talk to that cute girl that you've been wanting to talk to. Just tell her how you feel. And you can be okay with like whatever outcome because you're just being who you are. Once you take that action, once you take that first step, there's just this huge weight lifted off your shoulders. It's almost like the weight of the world is just gone and you're able to breathe again. You get this like healthy dopamine rush, right? That's how we're supposed to get dopamine, not all this mindless scrolling and like mindless consumption that we do nowadays, but by actually setting goals that are a bit outside of our comfort zone, not too far out, but just a little bit outside of our comfort zone, taking the right actions or figuring out what the right actions are to take, and then accomplishing those goals. Every time you've ever set a goal and accomplished it, it always feels good. Even if it didn't work out, the fact that you just did it, that thing you were scared to do, it feels good. Think about a game like Elden Ring, right? Like, why do people love Elden Ring? Why do people love Dark Souls? Because they're challenging. They like the challenge and they like to work hard to overcome the challenge because it feels good to do something difficult, to accomplish something difficult that you didn't think you could do, and then prove yourself wrong, or prove to yourself that yes, you can do something difficult, because you're still getting that feeling of overcoming the challenge, but it's not too much to where like you literally are not ready for the challenge. That's why when you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, you're trying to accomplish all these difficult things, you do have to take it one step at a time, one small step at a time. You can't just go from like point A to point B immediately. There's a lot of steps in between. If you have like social anxiety and you want to like make more friends, or you want to like talk to more girls or whatever, it might be hard for you to just jump right into a conversation, just start talking, go up to a whole group of people. You might just start by you're walking down the street, you're walking down the hall or something. Just say hi. Just look someone in the eyes and say hi. How's it going? Good morning. And that's it. And then you just keep walking. It doesn't need to be anything big. You start with these small little steps and then you just keep going from there. And then after all that, you slowly over time start to realize that, it wasn't so bad in the first place. There really wasn't anything to be afraid of. All that nervousness, all that discomfort, it was all in your head. In reality out here, everything's actually cool. Everything's actually fine. That's all it is. And that's all it ever needs to be, right? It's not some big, giant, scary monster or whatever. We always make it worse in our heads than it is in reality. There's definitely a lot more on this topic that I want to talk about, and a few of the other things that I touched on in this video, but I'll save that for other videos.